Good morning, welcome to my podcast. Today it's going to be all about my knitting and my crafty stuff with maybe a bit of life thrown in. I've just completed a month of vlogging during Vlogtober, which I really enjoyed it. I always do. You guys are just the best. Yeah, so my name's Gaynor. I don't know what else to tell you. This is my dog, Margot. I know I've got a few new people around here, so I feel like I need to formally introduce myself, but I'm not very good at that sort of thing. So let's just crack on. I'm wearing my new Felix cardigan that knitted itself. Honestly, I swear it knitted itself. I started it in Vlogtober, and I think that it was finished within 3 weeks. Unbelievable, unheard of for me, and I only knitted it once. Most of the time I have to frog back, change size, try again. There's a jumper I'm going to show you in a minute that some of you might remember from April vlogs where I pretty much knitted it 3 times. Okay, Margot is being very annoying and unsettled. She's now rolling around on my lap. It's because I'm talking. It's because I'm talking to you. So this Felix cardigan, I'll because of her, I'll insert some B-roll. I think that's what they call it when you overlay snippets of something you filmed. So this Felix, really lovely pattern, really nicely written. Didn't have a problem following it at all. I believe I got gauge. Did I get gauge? I'm sure I was out by 1 stitch, which made my gauge swatch smaller than it should have been. However, I know this cardigan is supposed to be oversized, and I am a very normal sized national UK average woman. There is nothing remarkable about me. I am not a ballerina, but this is the smallest size, and my gauge was smaller than the pattern called for, and it is still roomy, really quite roomy, which I'm really happy with. However, I've got plenty of friends who are much smaller than me, and this would just swamp them. It would really swamp them. So my advice would be to do some maths, do your gauge swatch and just do some maths. If you're smaller than a UK 12, then just do some maths, because you might want to have a finer yarn and smaller needles if you don't want to have a really big oversized cardigan. I knitted this in such lovely yarn called Pickle by Lay Family Yarn. Sorry, you're looking at the top of my barnet. I just want to show you. That's not the right bag. Oh, it's in here. It's in this basket because I'm going to Lay Family Yarn retreat this weekend, and I'm so excited about going. We're setting off tomorrow. Naturally, my leaving the house woes and worries. I spoke about this in my Vlogtober, and so many of you could relate to the fact that I have a lot of anxiety around leaving my home for overnight stays, any of my family not being at home for overnight stays, having people here for overnight stays. That is a big one for me. Although I had my dad to stay the other weekend and I wasn't worried about that at all, but then I think that's because I did live with him for 18 years. So I'm kind of used to living with my dad. I'm used to having my dad in my home. But yeah, so yeah, just some weird brain business going on. So I am at the point of getting a bit fretful about going away this weekend, which is really silly because my mother-in-law, Mad Granny, brilliant Mad Granny, she's here. She's in the other room now doing some knitting. And she's just excellent. She just holds the fort. She knows the children so well. She's been a very present grandmother. I have absolutely no concerns. But I don't know, I just get anxious about leaving. Back to the Felix cardigan. I knitted it in this, which is a DK weight yarn by Lay Family Yarn in the colourway Pickle. And the base is organic, non-superwash. And I absolutely love it. It's just such soft yarn, and it is soft without being slimy in the way that superwash can be slimy sometimes, if you know what I mean. I really, really love it. I had 8 skeins, and I can't remember how many meters are on a skein, but I've got a ball band here. 225 meters on a skein, and let's put that in there. And I've got a fair bit left because I used 650 meters. Yeah, no, I used 650 grams. So each skein is 100 grams. So I used 6.5 skeins. Yes, I used 6.5 skeins to make this cardigan. I would say that it's the yarn's really well suited to this cardigan and this pattern. This is the first time I've actually worn it, but it's a heavy garment. It's definitely a heavy garment. I think the pattern does recommend more sort of floofy, lighter yarn. Don't know how to describe it any more than that. But I'm really happy with how my cardigan's turned out. I did knit my sleeves far too long, so I fold up the cuff, but I really quite like how that looks. And I would also say that the sleeves are much smaller in scale than the body. So I didn't do a decrease. I did one decrease there, and then thought I actually don't need to do any decreases. And I don't know if that looks a bit funny, like I've got the same size arm all the way down, which, no, I don't. That's a ridiculous thing to say. I don't have the same size arm all the way down. So when I blocked it, I just made sure that I just gave it a bit of a tug to give it some extra room. But I think it's just going to wear and be comfortable anyway. I think it's going to be absolutely fine. I'll just take it off a sec because I want to show you the buttons, and I want to show you the t-shirt I've got on underneath. These buttons, one of them keeps going wonky. They're just little wooden toggles. Can you hear Margot breathing? She's doing this funny whiffling. They're just little toggles that I bought, I don't know, 11.5 years ago, just from John Lewis, for a cardigan that I'd knitted for my littlest boy, Wilfred, who is going to be 13 in February, so he's not so little anymore. Stop making that funny noise. Yeah, they're just wooden toggles from John Lewis, but I think they look really smart on here. I held 2 strands together of the pickle, and they were from 2 different dye lots because I realised once I started doing my gauge swatch that I needed to hold it double and that I wasn't going to have enough yarn. So I put in an SOS call to Kelly of Lay Family Yarns, and she said, I'll get that sorted for you, darling. So she did me a custom order, and I then held 1 strand from the first dye batch and 1 strand from the second dye batch, but I did not at any point alternate skeins. Now, as usual, you can see differences on screen, and you can see a sort of really variegated yarn there, but in real life, not so much. Looks beautiful both ways though. So really pleased, really happy with this cardigan. I could not get over how quickly it came together. It just knitted itself. I honestly swear it knitted itself. I cannot get over how fast it knitted up. Yeah, it's just chuffed with it. So I can't think of anything else to say about the pattern or the construction. It's a really good beginner friendly pattern, I would say. And I would like to knit it again, definitely, in a slightly different yarn, in a different weight, and do a different size, just to make it a little, I don't know, different. Oh, it really discoloured. Is that because I've taken off this jumper and now I'm basically a great big mushroom face in a sea of white? I wanted to show you my t-shirt. I made this. Oh, look, my bra doesn't fit properly. It's lost all of its it's one of those formed bras, you know, like a t-shirt bra, and it's so old now that it's lost all of its shape and elasticity. I don't know why I wear it really. I'll just throw it away. It is comfortable though. This is some organic cotton that I bought from somewhere like Minerva, and I've sewn the Cocoa t-shirt by Tilly and the Buttons, and I'm very happy with it. It's very comfortable, but what I would change is the width of the neckline, because my bra straps naturally sit here because I've got this sort of shape to my shoulder. My bra straps naturally sit there and the neckline comes out to about here, so I would alter that next time I make it. I'm just going to pop this back on. I feel I'm sort of rushing this podcast, but it's because I want to wear my cardigan at the weekend and I want to podcast about it whilst it's still looking all pristine and freshly blocked. So I've got 150 grams of yarn left over and a couple of other little nuggets. And I think I'm going to make the Biz beret again. That's an appalling photo. You can't really see. It's a lovely berry. I've made it twice already. Once for myself and a red one for my mum. Lovely pattern. I know a lot of people who have knitted it, so only good things to say about it. And I think a green beret would just be really lovely, really good fun. I have just misled you because I realised I said I've got 150 grams left. I don't, because I've already done another project with it. I have knitted myself a hot water bottle cosy. I've still got, having done this, I've still got enough for a Biz beret. I'm absolutely certain of it. So I've got this lovely hot water bottle cosy that I made up the pattern myself. I did a Judy's Magic cast on along here. I just eyeballed it and offered it up, I love that phrase, to my hot water bottle, and decided when I thought it was long enough to go along the bottom. It was easier for me to calculate it because I know how many stitches I get per inch, so I could just, you know, I was pretty spot on straight away. And I then did, it was almost like, you know, when you're doing a toe on a sock, a toe up sock, where you knit one, increase one, knit to the end, all but one stitch, increase one, knit one, and then you do the same on the other side. That's how I did this, and I just did it, I eyeballed it. So that's like a toe, like a massive toe increase here. And then when I got to the top up here, I did decreases, but every other round. I did this every single round because I wanted the curve to be more pronounced and sharp. And then up here I did every other round for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. So I did 3 decreases with a row in between each, and then I decreased every row for 3 rows, and then I did a knit 3 together in 4 spots on the round, but I only did that once. And then I did this ribbed thingy neck. So what you have to do to get your hot water bottle in there is you roll your hot water bottle and then you slot it in, and then it goes and goes all big and fills out your hot water bottle cover. And I really love it, and it's beautiful just as it is. I'm so sorry about this funny snoring noise of this dog. Whenever she lies down, that's what happens. So I've got a smaller version of this knitted in Lay Family Yarn Chartreuse Natural Yak sock, and I did a moss stitch panel around there which looked really lovely, but I didn't do that with this one. But to decorate it, I did this instead. How lovely is that? Isn't that pretty? Oh, that does look a little bit West Ham, but not in real life. It's really pretty in real life. The colours are really, really pretty. I'm so pleased with it. And I wanted to do this because on a jumper project I'm about to show you, that my whole plan has always been to embroider around the yoke and maybe a few other areas, and I just wanted to see if I'd like doing it, if I'd enjoy it. I didn't enjoy doing it, but I know why. It's because I'd completed my hot water bottle cover completely, and it was just really difficult to kind of stitch in there. I put an embroidery hoop on and I stitched it as best I could, but I kept catching the back here. That was a nuisance. That involved a lot of unpicking. And then sometimes when I was trying to make the stitches, I wanted to come at it from a different angle and I couldn't quite. It was just clumsy and awkward. So next time, I'm sure there will be a next time, I would knit my hot water bottle to about here, and then I'd put on my my embroidery. I definitely wouldn't do the shoulders and the neck, unless of course I wanted the embroidery here, in which case I'd just suck it up and get on with it. I'm absolutely chuffed to bits with this, and I've promised my friend that I would scribble down notes for the pattern, so at some point I will do that, perhaps make a Ravelry page for it. But all the way through Vlogtober, I was unable to put anything in my description box. I couldn't copy and paste links into my description box. And weirdly, a couple of you guys tried to send me a link for a Fair Isle tank top, because that's on my wish list of things to knit. And either you couldn't paste a link, or you did manage it, but then when I mentioned that I was having problems, went back to check and the link was gone. So I don't know what's going on, but thanks for letting me know that you guys are having problems in the comments as well. So I don't know, I mean, there's not going to be much to put in the description, because I will have told you about it here, put it on the screen, or shown you the yarn label. And of course you are always welcome to ask me, even though I will have put it on the screen, told you and showed you, you are still welcome to ask me the question. But I don't always get back to my comments in a timely fashion, and it depends on how many come in. Questions just drop down, they just go so far down the page, and sometimes I just don't get to them. But all the information will have been here at some point. Yeah, let's I did the embroidery with ancient stash of Rowan and Debbie Bliss, I mean true proper commercial yarn, so it was really nice to use that and I loved it. I'm really sorry about the noises this dog's making, but honestly it's now or never. That's just how it is for me in my life with podcasting. I just have to, and with vlogging, it's just a case of grab the moment. And if I put this one out of the room, she would just get very anxious and she would howl for me and make a lot of noises. She's a very anxious poodle. She also is probably picking up on the fact that I'm a bit jittery about going away. And she's old and she's losing her marbles. I used this stuff, water soluble paper, environmentally friendly aquatics paper, it's called. And I traced onto this paper my design. It's weird stuff. It sort of feels powder, almost powdery, but it is just, it's like a interfacing paper, like a stabilizer. But you trace on your design. I just got mine off the internet, and then I stitched it on with a bit of sewing cotton, and then you embroider over the top of the paper, and then you can just soak it in water and it just dissolves. But I was able to just pull it away and pull it out from underneath my stitches. I didn't need to dissolve it in water. It was absolutely fine. It worked out better, really. What else have I got to tell you? What's next? Next is my, do you remember this yarn? This is the yarn that I knitted. It was a jumper called the Floof by Skein Deer Knits, and I knitted it twice, and once it was way too big and the neck came up really strange at the back, but it was a really nicely written pattern and a nice construction. It just didn't, I probably got a short neck look, so it just didn't fit me. So then I decided to knit a different size, different needle, and alter the way the short rows and the increases were on the neck to stop it from rising up. But it still didn't fit very well, and I didn't really like the back. It was still coming up too far. So I decided it was not for me. Nothing wrong with the pattern, just me and it didn't get on. And it was really nicely written, and I don't want to say anything bad about the pattern or about the Skein Deer Knits, because it wasn't the fault of the pattern or the designer, and I know that. And I have got a plan to knit a different Skein Deer Knits pattern in the future, a Fair Isle tank top called the Academic, which loads of you pointed me in the direction of. It looks absolutely perfect. I thought my hamster was awake, but he's not. He's so old now. I looked it up online the other day to see how old he is, and he's 95 in human years. Every day is a blessing with him, and I'm going to be really very distressed when he goes. The other one's a bit of a moron. I like him, but he bites. He's not very nice, but little Timmy's just precious. Anyway, back to this. This is the, it's by Isabel Kramer. It's called Black to Life, but the L is in brackets. It's a weird title. She designed it and brought it out after she'd had a major back surgery, I think it was, hence being called Back to Life. And then it's black because she designed it in black and embroidered on it, but different style of embroidery to what I want to do. And it wasn't the embroidery that brought me to the pattern, it was the way the shoulders are constructed. This is just a lifeline, which I'll probably pull out soon because I'm well on my way. So the way this is, so hard to show you, is constructed is you do all these increases along here to make a shoulder seam, and then you do increases to make a sleeve cap. It's called the contiguous method, and it was invented by somebody who is cited on the pattern. She's credited on the pattern. I'm hoping to get this to the point where I've split for the sleeves so that I can take it to the retreat, and it's just a case of knitting round and round and round and round and zooming about. I think the neckline is going to be lovely. I think it's going to be a bit of a boat neck, which is what I like. I like that about this t-shirt, but the t-shirt's a bit too wide. I think this is currently a little bit wide, but it'll cinch in just nicely. When I've got the neck ribbing on, popped it on one of these barber cord things. It's funny, this yarn seems to slide on and off the barber cord absolutely fine, but other yarns it's just a pain in the bum and I don't enjoy it at all. But they are really useful, these barber cords, and they're not dear either. And you can get them from Jules So Sweet Violet's website. That's where I've got black ones and I've got some pink ones. I think I've been talking for a while. Let me just have a little see. I have knitted my husband a jumper and I finished it and he wears it non-stop, and I did go upstairs to the wardrobe to see if I could find it to bring it down and show you, but he's gone off for the weekend. He set off this morning and he's taken it with him. So I can't show you, but I'm delighted he's taken it with him. So great. Finally, the last thing I'm going to talk about is I've got some sewing plans. I'm going to make the meadow skirt by Twig and Tail, which one of you told me about. And I've ordered this fabric from Merchant and Mills. Isn't it lovely? It's called Henry. Let's see if this will be the thumbnail. No, I should hold this up for my thumbnail, shouldn't I? I will have cut that bit out, but I've just been prancing about making a thumbnail. This fabric is called Henry. It's linen from Merchant and Mills sustainable range. And I chose it because, well, it doesn't go particularly brilliantly with this cardigan, but it goes really well with the majority of my other hand knits. What I did was I ordered a heap of samples, loads of samples, and it was a toss-up between this one and the Henry, but I've got a dress in this colour and another grey dress. I just thought, no, we don't need that. But I got some really nice ones. Yeah, I got some beauts. Whoops. Really liked that. That goes well, doesn't it? Oh, they're all falling everywhere. So these little samples, lovely as they are, it just feels so wasteful. But I made, years and years ago, loads and loads of little white linen with a little embroidered star or heart or applique or whatever, stockings out of French vintage linen. This is my what's it called? Not a stencil, pattern piece. I'm blanking on the word, but I thought this one will be a bit skinny, but I thought maybe I could make some little vintage looking old-fashioned Christmas stockings with a tree out of it. I thought that might be quite nice. This is lovely, isn't it? Look at that one. I just thought it would be sweet. So I would obviously hold two together, maybe these two, so you've got a front and a back. Draw around it, stitch it, cut the excess, and then turn it the right way around, bit of thread through the edge, hang it up. Lovely jubbly. Oops. There we go, that's me finished. I haven't all that much of life stuff to report because we've just had Vlogtober. So I shall just say thank you so much for watching, and apologies for not being able to put anything into the description box, although I will try because the glitch might be resolved by now. Thank you so much for any comments that are coming. They really truly do make my day. The fact that you take time to just send me a message to say you've enjoyed what I've done is pretty lovely of you. It's pretty special. Thank you. Especially some of you now and again send me a message saying, I'm sorry I don't comment all the time, but I watch on my TV and I can't comment on there. So I've fired up the PC specifically to message you, and I just think that is pretty something. You lot are really special. I'm so grateful. Thank you. Because all the comments, all of the likes, all of the subscribes, they are just really helpful in helping my channel find new viewers. And that's the lovely thing about getting more viewers, is that it tells you that you're doing something right. And for me in my life, where most things are quite a repetitive task. I'm a stay-at-home mum. I look after the home and the garden and my 3 kids and my husband and my 2 dogs and my 7 chickens and my 2 hamsters. We've got a big property, so it takes quite a lot of time. If I was out working, I would have to have help in the house. So my wages would go to paying someone to do what I can do. But what I do is pretty monotonous in that it's clothes get washed, they get worn, they get washed, they get worn, food gets made, gets eaten, gets made, gets eaten, floors get washed, get dirty, get washed, get dirty, you know what I mean? So you don't really have much of a marker or an indicator to say what you're doing is good, like you're doing a good job. I mean, you know you are because you can see that you are, but it's just different. It's just a different thing. It's a tangible thing. It's a bit like when I used to have a proper job, you'd have performance related pay or bonuses, or you'd have your annual review and you might go up a stage. What do they call it? You might go up in a pay bracket, or you'd get a more fancy title or more responsibilities, or you'd get somebody working under you. You'd get all of that stuff. Whereas with what I do, which I feel is very, very important work, because there's nothing to me more important than my family, and everything I do serves my family. But you don't get a school report, do you, saying Gaina's worked really hard this year and she's done very well. But I get that feedback from you guys, and I am that kind of personality type that needs a lot of praise. I like a lot of praise. You know, I want people to tell me. I joke to Toby, I say, tell me I smell good and that I'm pretty. Or I'll just say stuff like, tell me I'm doing well, tell me the food was delicious. Even if you have to lie. Yeah, I like a lot of praise. And your comments, each and every one, feels like a praise. I'm off now. I will see you very soon. I suspect that this video will go up after my Lay Family Yarn retreat. I will hopefully be vlogging while I'm there. I was going with one of my friends who can't come now, so I am going with another group of friends. Lucky me that I am fortunate enough to know all these lovely people. So as long as everybody's happy with me vlogging, I'll be vlogging that. really excited to go. I'm just at that stage now where I think, right, I just want to be there now. I can't wait any longer. I just need to be there. I need to be packed so I can stop thinking about it. And I need to be on my way so that I can cut that tie. And the same before we go away on holiday. I'm anxious and anxious and anxious about it until the door's locked, I'm in the car and I'm driving away. Then I'm fine. But this 24 hours before going away, oh, my brain does a number on me. So stupid. So see you soon. Take care, everyone. I hope you're all doing very well. And that's it. Yeah. See you.